Hello, and welcome to Conversations Worth Your While, a show in which I chat with really cool people about interesting topics to spark, to inspire, and to motivate personal and professional change. And I'm Linda Bucher, Master Life Coach, author, and speaker. And today I have the pleasure of being joined by Claudia Canu, a health motivator and nutrition expert. And our topic is healthy eating made easy for you. And this conversation is worth your while if you'd love to finally take the weight off your shoulders and be organized and reduce waste and easily create healthy meals for yourself and your family, because healthy eating should be easy. And what we're going to cover is what we really want versus what we're willing to do. Those yeah buts and the other obstacles to healthy eating that we all have, and how to make healthy eating easy, even if you're not a planner. So hi, Claudia. How are you today?
Hi, Linda. I'm great. Thank you.
Great. So glad to have you here. Just in a sentence, tell me a little bit about the kind of people who you serve and how you serve them.
So basically, the people I serve, they're busy people who have the desire to eat healthy, but somehow they don't manage to get organized and to actually eat healthy. So they are really struggling with, I want to, but I can't. I can't find the time for it.
Aha. Okay, so basically you're talking to people like me.
Yeah, but you and me as well.
Yes. So basically what you're saying is what we want versus what we're willing to do. And there's a rift there. So yes, I would love, if I were in the position to have a personal chef who makes like the most delicious and healthy meals and snacks tailored to my caloric needs, so I can be good to my body and, maybe take the pounds off that I want to take off. That would happen naturally if I just didn't eat so much sugar, things like that. So I have really positive intentions. So I don't have the means to have a personal chef. That would be so lovely.
For now.
Someday, right? But I do have positive intentions, right? I do intend to eat healthy. I think about it when I go to the supermarket, right? But here's the rift. I'm not actually willing to sacrifice things. I'm not willing to sacrifice deliciousness. Like, oh, this is like quinoa, really? Like, like that, right? Or time, like it's going to take extra time. We have to be like, because, processed foods are so fast, right? Like dump in those dehydrated mashed potatoes into the boiling water, stir 4 minutes later, you got mashed potatoes, right? So, and the freedom, which I'll get to in a little bit more, but there's some freedom issues. Like I'm like a freedom junkie. So if anything even has the like inkling that's going to impede my freedom of, well, what if I don't feel like I want to eat that thing today? Now what? Because that was the plan, like, oh, you're going to have grilled chicken breast over salad today. I'm like, yeah, but what if I feel like pasta with red sauce? like I don't want my freedom to be taken away, right? So those are some of my own things I'm not willing to sacrifice. What do you hear from your clients when it comes to what they're not willing to sacrifice?
Well, the very first one you mentioned, the deliciousness, it's a big deal because, of course, it's like we usually associate healthy eating to boring foods, but right now it's not like that anymore. I mean, even if you Google a little bit like healthy recipes, you can have so many delicious recipes. So it is really a matter of understanding what taste you like, what foods you like that are actually healthy. So mostly it's about finding the whole foods that you like, and then is using those in recipes, just how you can actually mix them together. So this is the main thing, like really, I don't want to eat boring food, but this is just what we have heard for so many times, like, because you go on a diet and then the food is boring. Apart from that, it's mostly like finding the time, really. There is this willingness of, I want to eat healthy, and I'm actually like looking for information online, but I can't find anything because there is just too much. So I don't have the time to actually sit down and go through all the information and really understanding what is good for me, because that's also another point, that everyone's body is different. So we need to find the best food that is good for us, and also the best strategy to work for us. So right now there is so much information out there and people are just confused. And that's another main point that really people are struggling with.
Oh, you know what? I totally get that. Information overload, when there's too much information to sift through, you just give up because we really don't have that time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
what's interesting too is I often hear from my clients that there's a rift between what they want and what they're willing to do. So same type of thing, right? Like, but I'm not willing to sift through all this information. I'm not, right? And same thing, like, so my clients, they want a fulfilling career that matters. They want relationships that rock. They want the capacity to nurture all of their passions. And they want to make a very positive impact on the world. And with all those things going on, they also want to feel balanced because they got all these balls are keeping in the air, right? So what's interesting is that there doesn't actually have to be a rift. And this is what you're alluding to. The beliefs that we have about what we think it will take, right? Those are obstacles. They're not truths. Okay. It's the beliefs that are the obstacles. Those obstacles is what we have to work through so that, you know, we can achieve everything that we want, like, so that my clients can achieve what they want while making a difference in the world and feeling all balanced. So the obstacles are what we believe it's going to take. So people believe in your world, they, you know, your clients or potential clients believe it's going to take, to eat healthy, it's going to take all this stuff. And again, with my clients, same thing. It's going to take all this stuff. And those are just beliefs. They're not actually truths. So I love that you brought that up. And so these beliefs, which we've already alluded to a little bit, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of obstacles to healthy eating, right? There's a lot of obstacles, you know, when it comes to getting anything that we want because of these beliefs. So some buts that you've alluded to, that you hear, that I've also you know, come across or said to myself, you know, food that's good for you is not as good as food that's not. Healthy food's too hard to make. I don't usually stock all these healthy ingredients. You know why? Because they go bad too quickly. I had this dish towel and it was hilarious. And it said, I wish I were the person I thought I was when I bought all this produce. So there's just too much waste. And the reason for that is because I'm not a planner. I'm an ingredient shopper. I go to the supermarket and I'm like, ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at that. Look at this. And I buy all these ingredients so that I have options, so that the creative part of me, when I want to, you know, cook, goes, ooh, what could I make with all these? And that's fun to me, right? But what happens when you're an ingredient shopper is you have a lot of waste because all your good intentions, like that produce, didn't actually happen because also being that freedom junkie that I mentioned that I am, you know, life got in the way and we went out that night and I didn't cook this, or I felt like having something else, right? So we've got all these obstacles. So how can, like how do you help your clients get over obstacles like I'm mentioning to you?
Right. Well, what you're saying is like healthy eating is usually associated with fresh food, right? So then we have all the best intentions and we want to buy all the fresh food we see at the supermarket. And then after a few days, they might go bad, right? That's the main issue. So in this case, the first step I would suggest is to learn how to put things in the fridge, like how to store food. So for example, just a couple of examples, celery and carrots. Like my carrots, after just a few days, they got all mushy, like soft. So what I do, I just leave them in a jar with water. So I prepare them, I cut them so that whenever I need them, they're ready to be eaten or just added to as an ingredient to a recipe. Another one, for example, is spinach. So spinach is like those green vegetables. We all want the green vegetables. And then you buy the big bag and after 2 days, it's completely gone bad, right?
Yeah.
So well, I have now a strategy and I have actually created a video about it. And my spinach, they last 10 days in the fridge. So it is really about how it's about learning how to store food properly. Mm-hmm. So, and this is for the fresh fruits and veggies, right? But then there are also many healthy foods that we can just keep in the pantry. And those don't go bad. So there we don't have any excuses, right? It's really about like taking the decision to grab the right jar. So it can be, for example, legumes. So lentils or beans, or even like veggies in a jar. So you can find cauliflower, you can find carrots, peas. There are so many veggies that now you can find in the jar. Of course, the taste is not the same as when you have it fresh. There is still a better option. They grab some food it comes complete in a bag that is not real food, right? Yeah. Or even like the salmon and sardines, like the small fish that we have in a can. Those last for years, right? So it's about taking the decision when you're in the supermarket to get the real food, the good food that you want to keep at home. Don't get anything that you already know it's not healthy. So you don't want to have it at home, because otherwise you're going to grab it. Right. So keep the healthy options at home. And then you just need to learn how to create a balanced meal. And then a little bit of protein, like the canned fish that you have, and then you add some veggies, and then maybe even if you don't like quinoa, maybe some other cereal or grain, right. And then you just mix them together. So I understand the urge that we have when we go to the supermarket. I want to buy it all. And then also, like, we need to be realistic when we go to the supermarket, because we have all the great intentions, that if we already know that during the week, for a couple of days, we won't be eating at home, and maybe our partner is not at home for a couple of days. So we can't buy too much food if we already know we're not going to eat everything. Mm-hmm. And even if it's like, maybe we need to go twice a week to go groceries. So it's, even if you don't like to get organized, it's about thinking a little bit more, just not getting organized, but like understanding, okay, have a look at how your week looks like, and then take the decision from there.
Yeah. I love how at first you brought up learning. So learning what you can do, what's within your power, is the first, before you say I can't, there's things that we can learn. We all learn every day. We fail forward. This is how we go. But trips and tips, I said that wrong. Tips and tricks, there we go, to make things easier. I'm all about that. That's what I always offer to my clients too. Like, I love to teach and share strategies and coaching tools that they can use on their own. So this sounds like it's something that you are also offering to people, is strategies and tips and tricks that they can use on their own, instead of having the food coach go shopping with them. Like yesterday, I wish you were with me when I bought that package of gluten-free Oreos that was on sale because I eat gluten-free, which is healthy, but I don't like cookies very much except Oreos. And when Oreos came out with gluten-free Oreos, I was like, and then I was like, oh, damn, because I keep eating them. But yesterday I only had one cookie, but they're still in the house. So it's a really good.
And that's the problem though, right? It's like, okay, you see them in the supermarket, you really want to have them, get them, just get the small package so that you finish them as soon as possible, and that's it.
I know. A friend of mine said, you got to keep them in the fridge or they go stale. I'm like, oh, they don't last that long in my house to go stale. But no, I'm gonna be a little more disciplined with those. But anyway, love that you brought up learning, right? You can learn how to do things to help yourself, and that is beautiful. And that happens in my profession as well. I love finding places where I overlap with my guests. Like, it's a really cool thing. So, okay, so when you are working with a client, tell me a little bit about what you offer and how you could keep the improviser in me happy. Because so I don't shop by the meal, I shop by ingredients. So I'm not, yes, I can get better. Like you said, great suggestion. Like, how many times this week are you really going to eat dinner at home? 4? Okay. Make sure you really only buy enough for 4 dinners. There's other stuff if you had to fill a gap in your pantry, you got, but just make sure you just buy enough for 4 dinners. Right. So that's very smart. So I don't do the grocery shopping in my house, which is good, because I would buy way too many things. I would be like, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. I spend way more money. I have more waste. So John's a planner. And he was very good. We're going to eat dinner 4 times this week. So let's plan 4 dinners. He does the shopping. He doesn't buy things that aren't on the list. it works out way better. And he loves shopping. He gets so excited about doing it. So I'm like, oh, God bless you. Go ahead. You know, so that works out really well for me. But as far as though so planners, I could see like you have you offer people, from what I understand, and you should clarify this for our listeners, help plans that result in no waste, which is so important and so beautiful, and that are healthy, right? So for John, who's a planner, you give him a plan like that, he's like, oh my God, because he wants to stick to it. He'd be like, that'd be so great. Thank you so much, right? But for people like me who are not planners, right? Tell me about how your program can keep the improviser in me happy, put it that way.
Okay. So let me first explain a little bit about my zero waste meal plans.
Okay.
So I've designed the meal plans based on my needs mostly. And the first one is, I don't like to spend time in the kitchen. I actually don't even like cooking. So I really want to spend the least time possible in the kitchen. So that's the main thing. And then, of course, I want to eat healthy and I want to eat delicious food. But I don't want to think about it. Like, I don't want to have the thought, what am I going to eat tomorrow? So I grew up with my mom constantly, almost every day, asking us, what am I going to cook tomorrow? And that's like, it makes me anxious just remembering that. So like, okay, these meal plans, there is just one grocery list for 1 week. So the grocery list is detailed. It's detailed so that you go to the supermarket, you buy whatever you need, and you get out. You don't need anything else that's on the list.
Send someone else, Instacart. Yeah.
And then there is a first day when you do the batch cooking. So batch cooking is, or like, I also call them the meal components. Basically, you take a couple of hours where you prepare most of the ingredients you're going to use throughout the week. And this would be actually a good strategy for you, because if you buy lots of ingredients and then they're sitting in the fridge, then they can spoil and then you don't know what to do with them. But like if you have already meal components, for example, you buy broccoli, you bake it, and it's ready in your fridge. So you just need to grab it. And you can grab it to use in a recipe, or you can grab it to just add more ingredients to it, right? Mm-hmm. So then my meal plan, they have 7 recipes, 1 recipe for each day, and each recipe makes 2 meals. So it's either dinner and lunch and dinner, or you can just share it with your partner. And each recipe, it's also like delicious. So it's balanced meal. So you have the protein, you have all the fat, you have lots of fiber, and there are lots of ingredients. And this is mostly to keep our microbiome healthy. Mm. So there are studies that have shown that you need to eat as many plant-based food a week as possible. The studies show that you need around 30. So that's like a lot, right? And it's like, okay, I've already planned everything for you. So I just tell you whatever you need to buy, and that you just have to eat it. And for example, the vegan meal plan, that's the last meal plan that I launched. It has amazing recipes. One, for example, is a burrito that you think, well, I mean, whether you crave a burrito once a week?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Another one is a curry. And another one is teriyaki, tofu. So it's like, there are recipes that they really look yummy, but they are super healthy. And you don't need to think what you're gonna cook. Well, you can think, like, for example, I give always a suggestion, like on Monday you can prepare this, on Tuesday this, but then it's up to you. You can I suggest to do the teriyaki tofu on Friday, for example, but you feel like having on Tuesday, then you can really do it. And most of the recipes, they take just about 30 minutes. But it makes, again, 2 meals. All right. So it's really like reducing time in the kitchen. And then you're going to use all the ingredients in all the recipes. So at the end of the week, I have done all the calculations so that there is no food waste at all.
That sounds really nice. And it also sounds like if I'm doing that pre-prep, that I might get some ideas there. And then maybe I take your recipes like I do with all recipes, like that's a really nice suggestion. That gave me an idea, right? And I could probably still have my improviser self be happy. I could still, improvise a little here and there with things like that. I'm sure. I think that would kind of be cool. As far as that initial couple hours of prep, the first day, get the groceries home, how could I make that feel better? Because that is for people who, like, I'm the queen of the 15-minute meal. Like, I want to make it fast. And I don't know if that's because when the kids were growing up, that's all they had patience to sit around for. And I'm like, I'm not going to take an hour to make a meal and you're going to be sitting at this table 5 minutes. Like, that's not worth my while. Go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's, so maybe it's my, I have Italian heritage. I know you are from Italy. Like, I want to sit and enjoy. Like, if I'm going to spend an hour cooking a meal, we need to sit for an hour over a glass of wine when we're done and just talk and hang out and connect, No one in the house wanted to do that with me. So I kept making my meal prep shorter. So it felt like a balance to me. So this pre-prep, this when you first come home and you're getting everything ready, I definitely see how that would be a big benefit to me. I always used to say to the kids when they were old enough to pack their lunch, I'm like, you can pack your lunch, because I always wanted to raise my kids to, you do what you can do and I'll help you with what you're unable to do. But this is how you're going to learn how to be independent. And then you're not going to throw your lunch away because you made it. So it's got in there what you want, instead of me, because they would throw it away and then, bum a peanut butter or something off of their friend. And that's what they'd eat for lunch, So I'm like, we're not throwing that, because I hate the waste, the food waste, So eat what you want, pack what you want. So, but what I told him, I said, if you always like to pack carrots, but packing your lunch feels like it's a big deal, just one day, take those carrots and then make 5 little baggies. And then every day you just grab it and put it in your lunch bag. That's all you got to do. And then the only thing you're making every day is maybe just your sandwich, but everything else is kind of pre-done. If you like, these cookies or that, whatever, or this applesauce, we're going to have them all already pre-done. And then you just grab and go. So I made a little drawer actually for like granola bars to grab and go. When you want a snack, open the drawer, just something small that you can just grab. You can plop them in your lunch bag, stuff like that. So I really love that idea. And then I think for me, it would be, I'd want to get that prep time down to be like short, or that I can multitask and do while I'm cooking another meal. So, because I'm very good at like cleaning as I go. Like, I don't want to mess when I'm done. So I like to start with a clean kitchen. I'll actually clean before I cook if it needs anything. But I like have a nice fresh white canvas for cooking. And then as I'm waiting for something to saute, I'm cleaning the chopping board, the knife, whatever, drying it, put it away. So there's not much to clean afterwards, because I want to sit and relax. That's the thing I like to do. Right. So, what I think I would task myself with, I don't want to spend 2 hours ahead of time chopping and stuffing and baking or whatever. I know myself, I won't do it. Right. I want to be successful with your plan, but I know I won't do that. I won't spend 2 hours. John does, one of the reasons he does the shopping is because I don't want to take the time to do it. I'll unload the groceries when he gets home. That takes me like 8 minutes, and that's fine. But this prep work, how could I make that a little easier, or do it in combination with something else? What would you suggest?
Well, 2 hours is usually the longest time if you prepare all the legumes. For example, the vegan meal plan has lentils and black beans. So, and I cook everything from scratch. So of course it takes longer because, legumes take longer to cook. But if you don't like to do that part, you can get already ready legumes. So if you can find a jar of black beans and lentils, you just get that. It's like, it's an option. So that takes already like some time, like it would save some time. And then the rest, my suggestion is always to have someone helping you. If you have someone at home, right, have them helping you. Because at the end of the day, when you do prep, like batch cooking before preparing the recipes, what takes most of the time is the cutting all the veggies. Right. For me, at least, I also like to have all my veggies cut really small. So probably that's why it takes me longer. Right. But it's like the cutting part is what takes the longest. And if you have 7 ingredients, the idea is that you cook them all at the same time. So you don't have any second that you're gonna sit down, because you are preparing one ingredient, then you start with the other one as well. And then, it's like it's continuous.
Right.
And time flies, but then at the end, you have all the Tupperwares ready and you just need to put them in the fridge. And that feels amazing.
Wow. Okay, thank you. You've been really generous today, Claudia, with these tips, and I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by your free zero waste meal plan. You said it's free, right? So tell me what comes in it and how we can get it, and and then I'll actually put the link to it in the description of this video. But tell me a little bit more about that.
So I have actually 2 meal plans that are for sales, and then 1 free meal plan. So the free meal plan is so that you can give a try to this strategy and see if it actually works for you. Mm-hmm. So the free meal plan is available on my blog and also on YouTube. So I have all the information on videos, and it's also written. So you can access all the recipes. You can print them if you want. You can watch the videos. And of course, like at the beginning, you download the grocery list. So the grocery list is available in grams or in cups or in ounces, because I'm trying to make everyone happy.
Right.
So you can print
what to do with grams. I'm like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do with a gram.
Well, in Europe, it's mostly grams.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, once you have the grocery list, then you just need to go get the grocery and then follow all the instructions for the batch cooking session. And then each day you just go have a look at the recipe and you follow those instructions, and it's really easy. The free one, it's extremely easy because it's mostly meal balls. So you just have to mix all the ingredients. There isn't much cooking involved, so that I make it extremely easy.
Easy. I love easy.
Easy and quick. Absolutely. And healthy, of course.
I really love quick. Easy, quick, and healthy. You got me. I'm going to try it out. I'm excited to try this. Beautiful.
Perfect.
All right. So thank you, Claudia, for being on Conversations Worth Your While. And I'm Linda Bucher, and I love helping smart, multi-passionate high achievers to get out of their own way and unleash their potential, so they can give their gifts to the world while living very balanced lives. And if you're watching this, please open the description where you'll find some free tools and resources and our contact information for both Claudia and me. So once again, thank you, Claudia Canu, and thank you, our audience, for sharing your time with us today. And until next time, make sure you've made this conversation worth your while by fueling the spark that it ignited.